Welcome back. Backstage with the Civil Church Podcast for 2026.
Hey, we're in
the
here
house.
talking. We already got it fired up for our own line.
That's
friends.
right.
There
If
we
you
go.
only listen to the audio, we started this past fall. You can watch live on Facebook every Monday, 3:30. We're streaming live. Our Facebook friends already seen it, but if you're listening to audio the next day,
Come on,
jump
let's
in and
go.
join us on Facebook.
So we came in and y'all said Happy New Year, and I said Happy New Year to you. And then it hit me. Josh sat down and I
Co-host
said,
Josh
Josh, I'm
Mitchell.
trying to educate, okay? Josh, what birthday song do you sing at your house? Now, because I can tell you right now, Evan, which one do you sing?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Who? Yep.
Go
same,
ahead.
Same.
Same.
Basic.
If you were to go out there and post, so what and what?
Whose birthday is it? Is it on my wife's side of the family, or is it my
It's
side?
on your side of the family.
And
You
then
heard?
Stevie Wonder come in.
Did you know that? In black culture, they do not sing Happy Birthday to you. They don't sing it. Happy birthday to you.
So was that around before Stevie,
Happy
or did Stevie write that?
birthday. That
I think it
is.
was written by Stevie.
It's an
It was,
original?
but
Okay.
that is what.
Oh,
I mean, is that not?
I know where that came from. Have you seen the Dave Chappelle stand up yet?
No. I mean,
No, he explains where that Stevie Wonder
Really?
song came from.
All right. There you
but it is true. That's you sing the Stevie
Yes.
Wonder version.
Yes.
go. Like your whole life growing up?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
as far as I remember, yeah.
See,
There you
that's
go.
why you go backstage, son. You learn this stuff.
Educate.
So here's the deal. Hannah's birthday's day after Christmas.
Yep.
So guess what version we sang to her this year?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder,
There
baby.
you
I
go.
said,
Go.
bring in the wonder. And Hannah was like, I love it.
That's
Because we actually have a problem in our house when it comes to happy birthday song. My mother-in-law, Mimi, I love her, okay? But one year, we don't know why. We all sat around, everybody's getting the cake out or whatever. And, you usually start, okay, get the candles. And it was like, she started so sad and so low. So the new tradition has been we make fun of her. And we've done this now for years. And then finally I was like, Hannah,
Somebody
I can't
kicks it
do
up.
it. I can't do it. And she was like, okay. I said, we going old school. We going the way it should be. Happy
Bring it back.
birthday to you. And man, they all started laughing. And then they didn't know it because they've never, all they know is, and I don't really know it. I only know the beginning of part of it. But we laughed and cut up.
Because
So.
it's Martin Luther King, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
it was.
I think
It
you
was
wrote
for
it.
Martin Luther King because they were trying to get his birthday become a national holiday, and Stevie wrote that song. Don't
What
quote me on
year?
this. You can
What
look
year
it
did
up.
it
Go
come
I'm
look
out?
all
pulling.
that
I'm
up.
looking.
It was after he died. They were trying to make his birthday a national holiday.
Written, performed,
And
Stevie
it is.
Wonder. He wrote it in the campaign to have the birthday of Martin Luther King become a national holiday.
And
he
it
wrote the
was-
single
what year?
in album June 1981.
So since the 80s. Come on, son. I
There
knew
you
I was an
go.
80s
There
kid.
you
What?
go.
Predate Josh's birthday.
But you watch that Dave Chappelle stand up. It goes into the whole story about. A
See,
lot of it,
we
yeah.
just
we
trying
cannot
to
recommend or endorse that as the Simple Church.
Hey, haters gonna hate. And lovers
man.
gonna love.
That's
okay.
right. That's what we're talking about today. New series kicked
Oh,
off.
you're on your mic again.
there
You keep
go.
messing with it.
It's due.
No, you did it.
Mm.
Plug in right there.
Yeah, get that.
Right
It's
here.
gonna be right there in the back. That's
we
gonna
go.
be the problem. So anyway, so where are we going today?
Haters.
We're gonna keep talking about haters gonna hate.
I want to start off with this because the way it works, backstage look, is
Yeah.
you tell me which service you want to choose, and I cannot remember the last time you said 9 o'clock. We do 3 services. We always go through, and it seems like you kind of get in rhythm and do better, but this week, 9 o'clock was your favorite.
Okay, so they're all different.
They are.
So I had multiple people out in the public today say, not only did I go to a service, I went and back watched another one. And I said, why? And they're like, man, I just needed a double dose.
And they listened because on our Facebook, triple the amount of positive comments talking about the message.
What was
So
funny
they
is
heard
you chilled out as the day went.
I did intentionally.
Yeah.
I mean, because I knew I came out hard. I mean, I knew I did.
Yeah.
So I knew I was,
Fresh off
you
the
know,
break, ready to go.
well, there's a lot to this. I mean, y'all know, I mean, I've been having the series for a while. So in other words, it usually takes me, I don't know, a couple of months. I'm not a year out, but a couple of months out, I kind of know where I want to go. So maybe sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes it's 3. So there's a lot of different thoughts that are going on there. But this one I knew was coming. So whenever I'm studying for it or researching on it, it's endless of which direction you're going to go because haters are going to hate is everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like we were just talking. I mean, if you're in a new position and you come into a new position, then you change anything. Haters going to hate. I mean, if you're in a family, you know what I'm saying, and it's whatever, holidays, and you bring a new
we
food
changed
out.
How we open presents, and we talked about it. And Eliza, at the end of the year, a week later, my 7-year-old said, "I didn't like how we did that." Just by the way, she wanted to chime in and tell us she did not like the way we did it.
And in our modern culture, we're all very aware. Everyone shares their opinion extremely quickly and through open venues that we didn't have 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And you've created a culture where it's not, generally speaking, people are quicker to be negative than they are to be positive. I've already said this before, and I mean this genuinely, and I'm not fishing for a compliment. I'm just being honest. I could preach my heart out what I believe is a great message. No one says a word. They just don't. It's not like I don't think it's underappreciated. I don't think it's overappreciated. I think it's just kind of like, well, it is what it is and whatever's going to go on. But when you stir it up a little bit and you kind of like, you get it where it's, and it's a little, and then what I don't like about myself, this is a criticism of me. I don't like when I start hollering too much. I don't want to be that guy. So then as I'm going on, I'm like, man, I got to gear that down. I got to. But then I can't. It's like personality drives communication and style. So part of it's being funny. Obviously, I'm being exaggerate. It's like we said in comedy. Comedy is comedy because it is a truth that is exaggerated. So in the same way, like a point is driven home clearer when it is exaggerated. Sometimes funny. Sometimes like the story is,
over the top,
over the top or whatever. But like what I can't make up is the story like with Brian Reed. And and somebody told me, they said, man, I was sitting next to Brian Reed.
Sweet little Brian.
And in every service I milked it a different way, but it's all true. I mean, Brian is the pastoral care guy. He's laid back. And if you're to go in the color scheme, he's green. If you go in, phlegmatic, figure out whatever temperament.
Enneagram 9.
Enneagram 9. I mean, whatever one you work on. He is who he is. I am who I am. We've been friends since we were youth pastors. So we have been friends a long, long time. We love each other, but we're radically different. His communication style, like when he preaches, it's slow, it's deliberate, it's, now listen, and he'll whisper. And I'm like, oh my God, and other people, I love it when he preaches. Everybody has something different. And then if you were to ask Brian, what do you like about when you preach? He would say, well, I wish I would. We used to pick on him because he had a go-to phrase that he was hung up on like crazy. The fact of the matter is. And I'd be like, dude, you cannot say that anymore. See, and look, I'm hollering already.
How many counts is he going to get?
I was like, you can't say it. I'd text him. I'd be watching online. And the fact of the matter is, let it go. Quit saying it, because we're all picking. I mean, it's not being ugly. It's really friend. I mean, we're deep friends. We love each other. So when I criticize myself, and I know it's like sometimes people, it's too much for them. I'm trying to hit become, but at the same time, it's my personality. So I'm like, but gear it down. And don't, like I got to figure that out. Well, I think it was after 10, this guy, don't know, comes up. Because I stand, what's cool about this format, which was not the same at Convention Center. What I love about this format is I'm available to talk to everybody right after the service. Like I'm there at the door. Now, if you don't want to talk to me, go down one of the back exits, go around. But if someone does, hey, I'm there. And I got 20 minutes to do that. 15 minutes of a pre-show, 5 minutes. Usually we're doing it.
You were downstairs as well.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of time to move around. And I can sometimes miss the first song once I know it. But I try to get there by the second song no matter what, so that, because they all start panicking. Where's Justin? Where's Justin? Because it's true, I could get hung up or whatever. But in general, this guy comes out of the second service and he's just like, man, are you really okay? And I thought, probably need to gear it down. But I don't remember being I think I was calmer at 10 than 9. But to him, he was like, oh, God, maybe he's
go back and watch
maybe
9.
he's
the one that got me at 9 was when you said, there's plenty of other churches gone. I was like, oh, boy, he's really into it today.
Well, here's the reason why. And this is what we said 18 years ago. You did not start the Simple Church to compete with another church. See, there's plenty of great churches in our area. I am friends with Denny Duron. I am friends with Gavin Spanning out at Halton. I am friends with a lot Broadmoor. We led music at Broadmoor. When I was doing music, and I didn't bring this up, coming out of the bars, the first place that
What's
really
it called? $1 Million Sandpiper?
$1 Million Sandpiper. It was a strip club. That is not an exaggeration. Like, everybody's like, come on. I'm telling you that if you were from Shreveport and you were in that time frame, I can promise you good people weren't going to the $1 Million Sandpiper. That's not like something your mama goes like. Now, if you went on a bachelor party or something, you might have been at the $1 Million Sandpiper. But it wasn't like a live casino that's kind of somewhat middle. Hey, we're going to go eat over by the airport. That tells you something else, too.
All right.
It was by the airport. But it was a shady place. And the club was split into two sections. You had a live music section where dancing and stuff went on, like just regular club. But in the other half, it was a strip club. So you could be playing, and the strippers are right here, and you're right here, and there's a wall, but there's a gap. You know, I mean, you can see it and everything.
See what's going on.
And people would just go back and forth. It was like, and that's just where we played. And I was a Christian. I'm not saying I wasn't living for the Lord. I wasn't saying I had it all right, but we were all Christian guys. But I was like, hey, that's where we're playing tonight. So I go back to it, and the reason I bring that up, if you caught me at that moment and said, I told
You're going
you
to hell.
This guy, whatever, it really wasn't a reflection of my heart. It was just where I was at the moment. It was what I was doing at the time. And God was, ironically, working on me. So, like, the only way I knew that is, like, there was things going on me going, man, this can't be it. But you got to remember, everything's different this time, too. There's no music in churches, really, other than in black church, which was, they were ahead of their time. They were gospel. They were inspired, loud drums. It could be, with some energy. I grew up in a Baptist church with like 50 people, an organ and a piano. How great thou art. And I'm going, whoo, this is the 80s, man. MTV kicks off. I mean, we got rock and roll. I mean, you're, hey, good evening. It's, you're watching videos. Everything's changing in our culture. And the church is back in like 1950, 40, 30. Mm-hmm. It felt like that. So then you're a young person. You're going, God, I got to be able to do something. I'm a Christian, and Christian music was even hokey. So, I mean, you had like Al Denson and a piano, pling tong, pling ting, ting tong. I mean, it was just like, But then you had DeGarmo and Keith start hitting the stuff, which is rock and roll, and Larry Norman, which was Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music, which Jeff Moore redid, and it's starting Striper's coming. You're like, oh man, we finna do this. We gonna go out there and get it. And then once it goes on there, you're a Christian kid, but you're in those environments. Never known I was going to be a pastor. I never thought. That's what I tell my kid. We had a whole family discussion when I got home yesterday afternoon because they came from Passion. So Passion's a huge movement, 45,000 kids. But I was discussing with them, all of these things that you're experiencing now was from this generation to go, we ain't going to do it like that no more.
Right.
For example, we went to high school, our camp, when we were in like middle school. When I was in middle school at Camp Harris in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, boys did not swim with the girls, okay, literally. Mm-hmm. You had cheesy music. You sang hymns. Mm-hmm. You had an hour and a half to 2 hours preaching. You didn't swim together. You didn't hang out together. And then you went to bed and they scared the hell out of you. And then you went back. So people like Lanny Donahoe, Andy Stanley, like when we were growing up, and we're now at the age where you're making decisions, you're like, man, there's got to be a better way. So Open Eyes, that same band that's playing on that stage, we were Big Stuff, which was a camp by Lanny Donahoe and Andy Stanley, which is the camp now in America, in the Southeast anyway. And I'm going to go to Student Life because that's the other one they go to on the West Coast, is this camp was birthed because it was people like us going, man, let's play some rock and roll. Let's celebrate. Let's have some fun. Let's put it in a location that you want to go to. So guess what? We went to the beach. Mm. So when we went to the beach, the first time we did like North Point's camp and all that stuff, we're at Destin, at Sandestin, which who's going to camp at Sandestin? Nobody at the time.
A little better than Camp Harris.
Right. I mean, you're going to the beach, and then you had to get parents and leaders to pay for that, and then so it'd be like you got the parents of the time to rent a condo, and then they hosted a grade. How awesome is that? So if you're that parent, you're like, man, this is cool. So we would have host parents in condos, and then we would have Andy speak. And by the way, Louis Giglio.
Mm-hmm.
Because Andy and Lou, we were close. So, like, these guys that are doing this stuff, this is who we were running with, that we were starting all this stuff with. And then you would go from, like, a Louis Giglio to a Chris Tomlin. That's who was leading worship at the camps we were going to.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Open Eyes, Chris Tomlin, Steve Fee. Crowder.
Household names.
So
now.
I'm going to tell you, this is another thing. And nobody believes this, but I'm going to put it all in perspective. This is what my kids were all tripping because it's an old man come home and, like, deep, because two of my kids went. Hannah didn't go. She just slept in. She was going back to tech. But my kids were talking because they're coming back from Passion. They're like, oh, man, and Crowder. And I was like, all right, I'm finna blow y'all's minds. And they're like, what's that? Crowder opened up for Open Eyes. So just get this in your mind. When we were all birthing all this, he's an East Texas kid. We would do events, and he was the little kid that couldn't sing. And you're like, hey, he's all right. I mean, and then he would be out there, you know, it was a little country, you know, whatever. But it fit but it wasn't. And all of a sudden, here it goes. You're going, and they're going, are you serious? And I'm like, yes. And now that's what's exciting to me, that Crowder is in Texas Rangers Stadium, and there's 45,000 people.
Sold 3 million records. I just looked up.
Yeah. And you go back and go, obviously, God had that in his plan for him, and obviously, God had this in my plan for me. There's not one greater than the other. It's the fact that we're all a part of God's kingdom that's changing the way things are done. And then I looked at them, and here's what's crazy for y'all. You can be the generation to change it to the next level. Like, you're living off of old manna, man. You're living off old stuff. It's cool, but like, what would you do? What could you do different? What would you do different? Vision is looking at what it is and saying what could be and what should be. Man, it could be different. It should be different. So Simple Church is one example of that. And coming from where we came from, music led me into this. That's why for us, people criticize it. They don't understand it. I don't care. Somebody told me the other day, like, man, like that. Well, you know, it's just not what I'm used. Go find one you're used to, because that's a great church, and you might be exactly where you need to be. Mm-hmm. But I'm still hoping and praying for the drunk Brittany to come back in, because Brittany's going to change the world. Mm-hmm. And a fat, overweight, fed Christian sitting in a pew that never moves and never puts it in action is never what I dreamt of being a part of. That's why we don't take offerings. That's why I don't care. I ain't pushing you and guilting you to give. I'm pushing and guilting you to go change the world. Hey, man, go feed these kids, get on this mission trip, go down to the hub, get out of your comfort zone. Why? Because I lived in the church that nobody did anything. And there's still, all these years later, I'm 56 years old, and you still got churches just going, well, what we're going to do is we're looking for a great sermon today, and we're hoping that the music hits home. And where are we eating? Let's get Johnny's Buffet, and see you next week. And nothing changes. And I promise you, if Jesus is here, he ain't going. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all homies, y'all knocking it out the park. He's like, no, man, be a Lecrae, be a Crowder. Like, push the envelope, man. Go change the industry. Go get out there and let Christ be in the middle of your life and in the middle of whatever world you choose to go into. Movie making for Ian, hope it prays and works out for him. If it's Emma being teaching, and Hannah, if it's social work or whatever she decides to do. But y'all can do what nobody's done. But I can promise you this, it don't happen by sitting back and waiting for it to happen. Mm-hmm. You got to go push it. You got to push the envelope. You got to ask for it. You got to kind of, and then when you're passionate about it, preaching a sermon. A sermon is a sermon. It's just 20 minutes of talking, okay? God uses it because we've created a culture where that is the method to deliver it. But in Jesus' time, it wasn't always exactly like what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. There were house churches. There was no pulpit. We got lights and smoke and all that. Okay, I'm not sure.
The streets.
I mean, and I'm being honest. Okay, maybe it works, but it may not work in 5 years or 10 years. It's kind of what we've thought. It's where we are. It might be good. But it might be that it goes back to another method. The methods change. All of that, I don't really, whatever. It works for me because I'm from the rock and roll world. I'm used to lights and music. I like a hype song. I like some. When I heard Red Clay Strays on CMAs, I said, that's the song for the series. That's what I'm talking about. So Brandon, a Christian kid who grew up in the middle of nowhere, a country music artist doing nothing, writes this song but begins to take off, and now he's in CMAs telling people, man, I'm tired of the hating, man. I am sick and tired of the hating. When are we going to come together and figure this out? And I'm like, I almost cussed again. I'm
There you go.
like,
There you
man,
go.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. How long does it take? And then we're going to argue and fight over stuff that don't matter. And then you're going to get distracted because the enemy knows, man, if he can get you distracted, man, you're messed up. And the church has been doing it way too long. And we're so selfish. We're so self-absorbed. We got all the hierarchy of business that we brought into the church to think that that's the way it works. And then it's he's the pastor. He parks in the right place and he gets the respect. Man, come on, dude, you get respect by earning it. You don't get respect because you got a parking spot out behind your church. And you get out there and you go work with people. You go get in the dirt. You go get on the trips. You go help somebody when they're in a need. And for the record, see, y'all got me fired up. And that's one monster. It may be killing me.
You ain't
but
even
here's
all the
what
way
it is.
through it yet.
I ain't even through it. But here's the other part. Do you know how many suicides have happened in the Shreveport-Bossier in the last 3 weeks? Too dang many. I'd like to have really dropped another more powerful word in that because this is where the adults hang out. Not Justin After Dark yet, but it's close. Too many. In a world full of churches? How many churches are out here? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
That these kids and young adults devalue their life enough to say, that's it. It's a wrap for me. I'm out. I was with Minton Fire this morning talking to all those guys, and they're rocked. They got young people that are responding to this and just going, man, good gosh, Justin. I said, I know. So then Jacob Maddox, which is a kid that grew up in the church with us back in the day. His daddy was a fireman. He's Jacob's now in Benton Fire. And we're sitting there, I'm like going, Jake, and I was bragging. I'm like, Jacob, you can do something, son. You're in the position because God put you here to work on it, to figure out. And he's like, I know, Justin, we just got to pray through what's going on. I mean, how we can do it. So there are other people doing it better, but we gotta do it. It doesn't matter if you have a church service this week. If all you do is come in there and listen to the thing, and I'm very appreciative of people being kind. I mean, it is encouragement is part of God's word. It all works. But I ain't just doing it because I really need you to go, man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Sure, it feels good, and there's always a little selfishness in some of that. No, what really feels good is when we walk out of here and our communities change. When you move from a hater to a lover, when you literally move to go, man, how can I encourage? How can I build up? And everybody's so insecure and so just, you can't even go into a room without thinking about yourself more than you're thinking about the person across from you. That's how jacked up our culture is. That's how right now it's like, oh, my God, am I wearing the right thing? Am I going to fit in? Is this going to be there? Oh, my God. And then instead of going, man, we're all on this team, and what are we going to do to make this better, whether it's your city or whether it is a community or whether. So who gets the credit? Who cares? As long as we all come together and go, hey, there's power in unity. There's power in, pulling our resources together and our energy and all these things to be able to pull this off. But so many people, it's like, no, well, but don't be divisive. That's where a hater starts. You start talking behind people's back. Well, he really, I don't need. And then it all starts going on. And then it just turns into this insecurity and jealousy and fear. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm just telling you, let's all talk it out. Man, this is what you want to do. Let's figure that out. It ain't about whether somebody's right or wrong. We're trying to, in method, it's just about, hey, let's figure out how we can make the biggest difference while we can. We went all over the map, but that was fun.
That's it. And I know you don't want it, but I'm going to give you some positive comments because people are in here watching on Facebook.
I'm thankful for
That's
you.
right. So thank you for watching live. If you're listening to audio, join us. You can put your comments in like Annie said she watched at 9 o'clock, went home and watched it again in the afternoon.
See?
Matt
Thank you.
Sanders said 9 was awesome, and you forgot the gospel quartets.
Yeah.
That was another style of music there. We grew
up with it. I got it.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite songs of all time from that generation. Go ahead, drive the nails in his hands. It was Dallas Home and Praise. They were a worship group, and it was a Rise Again. You also had to do a song during the offering. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
Special music.
That's what you
songs.
couldn't do. You had to do hymns, and the only time you could sneak in with something else was, well, let's pass the plate and let's entertain you a little bit, hopefully distract you so you cut a check.
Give a little more.
Dump a little more money in
Writing
there.
a check on the pre-show is funny.
Anyway, sorry.
That's
go ahead.
all right. David Kruger said the style of communicating that you use is why it's so powerful. You don't need to change a thing.
Thank
and
you,
then
Kruger.
Tina
Thank
said she's watching this live by the pool. in
Come
the middle of
on.
January.
Hey, and it's beautiful out there.
Love that.
Now I feel like January.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Absolutely. So folks are watching. We'd love for you to be in there. Comment, ask questions if you got them. We'd love to answer those while we're going because we are all over the map. But we're talking about haters. We're talking about being positive. So the series and kind of over the next couple weeks, you were saying, is going to be how to deal with haters. And then we'll give them a sneak preview into lovers. You kind of already teased that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bottom line is if you have hate, the opposite of hate is love. And so in our culture, it's very full of hate, politically, religion,
and they're amplified. I mean, I think that's the thing. There's always been haters, but
right.
now anybody that's a hater can go get a platform.
And so the problem is in the Christian world, which is the church world, we're just as guilty. Truthfully, we really are. It could be me. So I'm not saying I haven't done it. I can't. I'm just as capable. I feel the same thing. Sometimes I think it, and occasionally I say it when I shouldn't. So it's not like I get a pass. Everybody is kind of navigating these waters, but in that water, the biggest danger is if you're posting and hating things, and then all of a sudden you want to flip it and go, hey, man, come to church, or hey, man, come. Let me tell you what Jesus did. It makes no sense to an outsider.
Your online life is not separate from your life.
It makes no sense. And so people will tell me all the time, it's like, man, like somebody invited me, but I mean, good God. I'm like, look, man, we ain't all together. I mean, trust me, we're still working on it. We're all, and we all know that. But what happens is, it's one thing if you post something. The difference is, it's that hate,
vitriol.
It's that like deep. There's something in you that just like, and so the only thing that I can equate that to, that I get there pretty quickly on, is I really hate religion. I don't like religious stuff. Like,
for the record, Jesus kind of did too.
I know. Well, and the reason I say that is sometimes people will argue or they'll come against something, and it's not a fundamental foundational truth. It's a methodology. The hat illustration in that past sermon, that's why I was bringing the preacher. This is where the church is changing in a good way. That brother, when he got up and he's saying that, he's just as passionate because somebody, somewhere, a kid came in and they were turned away. And I'm going to give you a true story right here in Bossier City many, many years ago. Same situation happened. The problem is we couldn't correct it because we weren't in power. So there were other people in the position of leadership. But when you walked into a church, we had a kid when I was doing student ministry that was unchurched. People had been praying for her. This is how the enemy works, the devil works. Been praying for him. It'd be like, it's an evangelism. We used to have friendship evangelism, the friendship card.
I had cards.
You had 5 people. You put their names on there, and you had a plan of just trying to get them to church and have an impact on them and all this kind of stuff. All right. Somebody gets him to come. He got a hat on. Now, the dude that brought him, and I can remember this like it was yesterday. We were in Faith Chapel, okay? The guy that brought him, he didn't remind him, hey, bro, take your hat off. Maybe because he forgot. Maybe he was like, man, this is going to be too awkward. Maybe he was just going to go with it. Well, we had a lovely deacon meet him at the door. You don't walk in our house like that. Now, just get that in your mind. You've prayed for him. You hope it's going to happen.
He took the risk. He came to church.
You get there, and then it's like,
then
before he gets in the door, you ain't going to walk in here like that. Mm-hmm. So then he looks around and like, what are you talking? He don't even know what you're talking about, because that is a religious thing that is created by culture that they go really probably, honestly, from the 40s and 50s, because military, a lot of people wore hats back in the day. And when you did a thing of respect, you took it off when you came in from that generation. Totally get it. Totally understand it. But now this is the 90s. This is when this happened. This wasn't like it's been a long time ago. And not like, hey, man, thanks for coming to church, man. If you don't mind, man, they don't really wear caps in here. It's kind of one of those things where they kind of, no, it's like just, no, you ain't coming in here like that.
That's what's wrong with this generation.
And then the next thing you know, guess where that kid goes? Out the back door. Mm-hmm. That's a wrap. Mm-hmm. And I go back, and that's why the brother's preaching like he's preaching on there. He's like going, today, now it's tattoos. You can argue whether they should. It's an argument. It's a point of opinion. It is not like going to be the foundational truth of your relationship with Christ, whether a tattoo gets you in or out of hell. It don't.
Shorts.
You may have an opinion, and that's cool, but why are you going to be so ugly as a representative of Jesus because it don't work for you? And you have a strong opinion, and I could go down a long list. It was clothes, it was music, it was
what your hair looks
like.
I
mean, it's everything. So, true story. And people, you could ask Alan. They kicked us out, man. Our hair was long. We left the bar. We're trying to get it right, and I go, that's a real story that shocked me, hurt me, but at the same time motivated me. So I was like, you know what? One day we ain't going to be like this. One day we ain't going to be like this. And then I could give you so many examples. The beautiful thing about Open Eyes, being able to play and not being like just at one church, we played at a lot of churches in a lot of different styles and a lot of different denominations. So just an example, in this area, we played almost every church in this area.
And back then you couldn't go watch online. I mean, there
No,
were people
so
doing
I
it
can,
and seeing it.
we played at Broadmoor. We played at Summer Grove, but we got kicked out of Summer Grove.
I was about to say, how many churches did y'all walk in and go, they ain't got a clue what's about to happen?
Well, the good thing is it started changing a little bit. So early on, Summer Grove, it's kind of like that old analogy of back in the day, Jesus saying, "Hey, you ain't
New
respected in your
wineskin.
hometown."
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's where we grew up. So they had too much baggage on us. They knew I'd been down to $1 million
Personal
sandpiper.
knowledge.
They knew I did. They may have smelt a sandpiper on me. I don't know, but they were like, "Man, that brother right
Seen
there,
the glitter.
we ain't putting him in front." And the way you could have gone about it could have been totally different. But I'm sure I've messed it up too. But it was just not cool. So then, thank God it didn't discourage and we didn't quit. I don't know why. Probably just because that's the way we are. It's like, no, man, we ain't going out like that. Well, then Broadmoor Baptist, Frank Gunn, Tom Harrison, they took us in. And we did Jamboni over there, which is crazy.
Jamboni.
We called it Jamboni. And we did rock and roll. And Tom Harrison, God bless Tom Harrison. Tom was like, "Hey, Justin, here's the truth. Every time you play here, we're going to give you another piece of equipment." And that's how we started. We had played Wednesday night. He'd go, "Man, there's a monitor.
That's
We're
cool.
going to play Wednesday night. Here's a mic." And that's the truth. And so we did their event, their thing. Denny Duron, God bless him and thank God for him. Denny's like, "I want you. Let's go do crusades together." Because they were from the Assembly of God.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, depending on how you were raised or what your belief system was or what you thought,
Denomination?
what denomination, it was like, well, they're crazy. Well, they're and they're going, "No, we're spirit filled." And then it didn't matter to us what you called yourself. If we could play music and talk about Jesus, we wanted in. And so it wasn't a matter of we played Full Gospel Temple. We played Christian Center. Christian Center was the first one to start saying, "Man, y'all can have full concerts here." So we started doing like full concerts, like not just like a song. It was like, "Man, y'all come in and take over," And then like on Jamboni Wednesday night, it was kind of like play whatever's cool right now. So it may be hokey for us, but we were like, "Man, we will play rock and roll, but hey, we're playing the game." Then we played every week. Obviously, First Bossier is where we ended up landing them. We played Cypress. We did Cypress. I mean, that was you did. I mean, what's the one down Jeff Luce and them were at? We did Jeff Luce's church. Jeff used to be down in South Bossier. River Valley, yeah. I mean, I'm just going, we were everywhere. It didn't matter to us. Well, then we were also through the whole South.
Mm-hmm.
So then the other thing you realize real quick, and this is let's go ahead and go there since we got a brother on the panel with us. I will never this is where haters are going to hate. This is how jacked up we are. We're in a Baptist church in South Alabama. Go ahead and go with me.
Mm.
Open Eyes don't know anything. We're hired. We're coming in to play. Bunch of white kids playing rock and roll. And then we knew how to play an acoustic to win you over to get you with a rock and roll. Same thing we do here. Amazing if I play a worship song, you think I'm God honoring. And then if I play Jelly Roll right after it, I lost my religion. But that's the point of where we are. Haters are going to hate. Same thing back then. If I pulled out an acoustic, I was a good old country boy and I knew the Lord. And if I pulled out electric, I ran with Ted Nugent and I'm going to hell. So it don't matter how you do it. It's whatever, okay? So now you got all these white boys, and they're literally, we don't have a black kid with us because we're all white kids playing rock and roll from First Bossier, and there wasn't a lot of black kids there. But one of our best friends in the world is a black guy by the name of Dwight Singleton, and he is a great preacher. And he wore cowboy boots, which was always weird for a black man wearing cowboy boots for us because we had never really seen it, but that's who he was. He was a great communicator, great being able to do it. We're all excited about doing the revival, and they've hired us to do all this stuff. We're all unloading our stuff. You travel down, you get all this stuff. They stop us at the door.
What year is this?
Oh, 90s.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 90s. And you ask Greg, why? I can't make this stuff up. Haters gonna hate. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Smoking, no lie now. They got the Marlboro Lights or Marlboro Reds out there, and he's smoking. He goes, ain't no black man coming in our church. And I'm like, well, there ain't no white kid coming in either then. So we're out there in the middle. Now they're supposed to pay us. So now you've driven, you got your expenses, you got all this other stuff going on. And I'm like, Dwight, just hold on. Because Dwight, it's hurtful I mean, dude, it's like that's personal. I'm like, well, let me make sure you're clear. He out, we out. So we ride together. There ain't no confrontational. And then I'm realizing, be wise enough to go, let's settle it down. Like, this ain't going to go well. But then, like, it depends. We had Alan. Alan's a hothead. Alan Smith could have killed somebody.
And you had
Alan's
Greg,
watching right
too.
now.
Oh, and Greg. We're all, so it's like
Real
everybody.
quick, Alan's on there watching and said that's exactly how we did it. The memories, production
And
too.
Big A, and what I'm trying to tell you is, and Alan will tell you.
Tell us, Alan.
So Alan,
drop in the comments.
So Alan and I, we're like going, you think he ain't coming? We ain't coming. So it turns into this, oh, Lord, what's going to happen? Okay. We're trying to let cooler hairs. Alan is the kind, I've been with Alan since we were kids. I mean, a long time, since high school, right out of high school. Alan will kill you, okay? That joker right there had a temper, and I'm like, Alan, we can't kill him. We're trying to honor Jesus. We got to. I was like, let me at him. I will settle this. I promise you, because we're sinners, dude. We ain't got it all together. We just broken guys trying to honor the Lord, use what God's given us. We ain't great at it, but God's opened up these doors, and all this is going on. Here we are in a situation. Alan's mad, I'm mad. We kind of pull out. And then what I'm going to tell you is the gospel, and Alan can tell this is the truth.
His comment was, I was a hothead.
Yeah. Oh, well, as we go on, as it goes on. But here's why I love Alan. What we do, we pull away. We start trying to think through and how we're going to do it. We eventually convince them we're going to go unplugged, because it's rock and roll. So now you got to win them over the acoustic, because now you're back with the Lord. If you got an acoustic guitar, same church, they have their meeting and they agree to let Dwight, because now what are they going to do? Music's leaving, the preacher's leaving. So it may be just one or two deacons. It may not be all of them.
he was coming in to preach too?
Yeah.
And they just didn't know that he was black.
Right. They're like, no, we ain't going out like this. And we're all, well, this is how it rolls. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
They eventually submit. And God fell on that place. And that same redneck a-hole walked that aisle crying and saying, man, I was wrong. And that's why I hate religion. And that's why I hate racism. And that's in the church. That wasn't out there somewhere else. So what we learned is we ain't going to fight him and win. Although we wanted to kick his tail. Like, because that's why I'm going there. And I'll talk a little bit about this week. Anger, and I'll blow a little bit, give you a little precursor. When you're angry, because remember, Saul was angry at David. Mm-hmm. He's bitter. You don't feel weak when you're angry. Mm-hmm. You feel like, man, I got this. Mm-hmm. Okay? The problem is it leads to a place that is not God-honoring. You can have anger and have righteous anger and let it go, but uncontrolled and untapped, it begins to take you out and hurt people. So now the jealousy, the anger, the hurt, the whatever it is, haters are going to hate. It turns into hate. Because, yeah, I hated the dude. I could have killed him. Like, not literally, but in my mind I am. I'm like, dude, you don't even know who. This is crazy. But the Holy Spirit is love and compassion and kindness and gentleness and patience, long-suffering. That is hard to get to when you're in that place. So then if it's going to be the opposite of hate, it's like, man, we got to love this dude. Like, hey, man, you just don't know us, bro. If y'all give us a chance and you let us come in, I think God can do something. And we can't guarantee it. I don't know who's getting the phone call in. Yeah.
There we go. It's still on.
So whenever it goes on, so it's kind of one of those things where you're going, what are you going to do? Or how are you going to do it? And then when we come back, and then all of us are taught through that. So every open-eyes guys back then, all of us are humbled, tearful.
Alan said they ended up loving us. God had his way.
Yeah. And they're like, man, you guys are the best. This was the best. And I only say that because Alan knows. I mean, like when you really run with people or you really do, it ain't make-believe. Like you're not making this stuff up. It's like your life. So you're passionate about it. You care about it. And for me, it's what you've given your life to, and then you know what's at stake. It's Brittany not having a place to come to church. even though she was drunk, and then you don't have a chance to change and see that. God can do anything, and he'll use anybody, but he allows you to be used. You get that opportunity, and you get that blessing of knowing Brittany, and you get that opportunity of going to Honduras and drilling a well with somebody who tells you, I was drunk every week in church because somebody out at the club told me that's where you need to go. And every time I came in, I felt welcome, and I understood, and I connected with that. And y'all even played some stuff I recognized. And the church person, I can't believe that it ain't for you. It ain't for you, cuz. I mean, like, dude, go pick one. There's some big ones around here. There's some nice ones. They're going to do it just like you like it. And that's why I still fight for, after 18 years, you sense it in us. The longer you stay somewhere, the longer you do something, the more comfortable you get, and the more you want to try to make sure everybody's you okay? You okay? Dude, when you're the renegade, when it's starting, when you're the rebel, when you ain't worried about that. And then next thing you convince yourself, well, we can't lose this, or you can't lose that. Why do you think Jesus said, hey, man, foxes have holes, man, but I ain't got no place to lay my head. So if you think that it's going to be that everything's going to go your way, I mean, man, look, I'm just telling you to follow me. Sometimes that means ain't nobody else going to be out there with you. And if they hate you, they hated me first. That's his words, not mine. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, hey, man, haters are going to hate. So it's one of those things where you have to go like, and Angie jokes about it. She was like, you're really secure and whatever. And I'm like, most of the time, but everybody has insecurity. Everybody has fear and doubts and all these things. But the truth is yes, I know what God's asking us to do, and it matters. And so when you get into a message like that or a series like that and you realize what's at stake, but you don't want people to just listen.
And I think one of the great things you said yesterday, too, was if you don't have haters, you're probably not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just going along with everybody.
That's the truth in it, though.
And I heard it somewhere. I don't know where I heard it from, but I mean, it's the truth. It's like, if nobody's opposing you, then you ain't doing nothing.
Well, it's like people that don't know Jesus. They're like, my life's good without Jesus. And I'm like, because you ain't a threat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean.
Right.
There's truth in that.
And this is the part it's so difficult because, and like we're doing like if you'd have told me how many years ago we're going to be sitting over here talking on a podcast and people would tune in. I mean,
First of all, you'd say, what's a podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even, but now I know it is just a tool to continue the conversation. That is another way that somebody might get exposed to it.
Yeah.
And they go, And that's why when other people have asked me to go on other podcasts, I've always said yes. I've gone on everybody's that's asked me. Not church ones. And they're like, well, I can't believe you're not. I don't care about whether it's a church podcast or not. So me and Jay Watley had one of the funnest times we've ever had doing a podcast. Me and DJ down at Bojangles, the whole Red Wolf, we did all that. And DJ's like, what? I'm like, look, man, we're all here. We're all humans. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all on this journey. And the church has been so separated that you don't feel like you could connect with it, that it's not for you, that it's not genuine. And music, what I found, bridged that gap for us back in the day. And now it's a lot of different things. Technology helps that. Music helps that. I mean, there's so many things that can help people get exposed to it. So we try to use all those things. And that's why, like, if Evan wasn't doing it, if y'all didn't do it, I ain't doing this. Now, again, is it going to be the thing that, like, passion and all those things launch off of that? I don't know. But I can tell you that the reason I was going to go back to Randy Hall at Student Life for a second, going back to camp. So, like, Landy Donahoe, and this is a true story, and everybody's like, this is weird. So when you did camps, and we had big stuff camps, and all these kids came together, and we helped launch Andy's, which turned into big stuff, and all this other stuff's going on because it was different. When we got back and I was a youth pastor at First Bossier, we started going to Student Life Camp. Well, that was Chris Tomlin, Louis Giglio, who's leading pastor, and all these other things. We're doing all this stuff, but we would meet together as a small group every day before sessions or afternoon. And I remember Randy Hall, who was over it all, he was like, what are we missing? Now, I'll rewind. I'm a PE major, okay? So I went to school to be a coach. So when I first started doing worship and Open Eyes started playing a lot of camps, we realized, like, it was a way for me to make a little bit of money. I would organize the sports activities.
Double dip.
And I would lead the music. We'd get paid by Open Eyes, and then I'd begin to work over here, and that's what I would do. So we did all, and almost killed a bunch of kids one time in Northwestern. I put a bunch of inflatables inside. This is a true story. Put a bunch of inflatables inside a gym with generators, and almost carbon monoxide and wiped out everybody. We looked like Jim Jones, man. It could have taken everybody out.
Youth
But
pastor
by the
101
grace
right there.
of, by the grace of God, no one died. But at that time, people did not use college campuses for camps. But we started thinking, dude, you got dorms. They can stay in them. You got auditoriums. You have open fields for recreation.
Yeah.
So we were like, hey, this is even a best case. So then what happened to the colleges? This is a win.
They're sitting there empty.
Sitting there empty on the summers. Like, dude, we can. So that's what we did. We did Tech. We did Northwestern. We did ETBU. We were just seizing those opportunities. But when we went over to Tech, one of the first things, Randy's sitting in a meeting just like we're doing now. We're all just brainstorming. And I'd done recreation for all these camps. I mean, PE major, right? And they was organize this and do all that. And then I was like, man, what's missing is you're just sitting. All we do is just sit and listen to a sermon, listen to music, and then we don't do anything. And they're like, well, what do you think? And I was like, well, what if you bypassed recreation and you put in a mission project in camp? They're like, that's awesome. Let's figure all that out. So for the first time ever in a camp, they launched weeks of camp where there was no recreation.
Student Life, this huge national organization.
National organization that was mission-oriented. And so we laughed because Evan goes, I was a part of one.
Sophomore in high school painting a chain link fence at the community pool at Tech.
At Louisiana
Ruston,
Tech.
yeah.
And we'd come back. And the reason we were trying to do it is get the focus off of, this is still the problem with Christianity in our modern world. It's consumer-driven. You buy a ticket to go to a conference, to buy a T-shirt, to sit and listen, to be entertained and motivated and inspired, and then you go back. And it's financially driven. It's consumer, it's giver, it's consumer, it's give. That's not Christianity. No, I'm not against those things. In other words, they're inspiring, and I participate in those, and I pay and I go. The problem was, like, while we were trying to do this now, and even in the church, why I say what I'm saying is us, is you have to be living that. You have to go do that. So everybody gets mad and they go, and this is where Baptists are horrible. I mean, because I am one. I grew up one.
You know them best.
I mean, they're going, well, you don't earn your, it's so quick to say it. You don't earn your, no one said you earn your way into heaven by doing it, but you're trying to justify your inaction. Wake up to the fact that why are you afraid of someone telling you to go love somebody? Because you're not. It is so obvious. So I'm comfortable in my Sunday school class. I'm comfortable getting my coffee. I'm with my friends. I drink my coffee, eat my donut. Oh, I love the message. I've had my thing. And then I go on and I go, I feel better. Imagine, instead of it being consumer related, if it was actually what was intended in the New Testament. Do you think that our communities would look the same? Do you think that if every Christian said, look, we have got to start going to solve problems and represent Christ, and that means if someone's mental health issues, or if that is someone's financial issues, or if that is someone in whatever, start going through the whole homeless issue, and we all are like, you're not content with listening to a sermon and listening to a song and going, man, that was a good week. Now, where are we eating? And you wonder why there's no passion. You wonder why it's boring. Yeah. You wonder why there's no adventure, because you bought the lie. And the lie is we're still selling, because that's what you have to do. Because if we stop doing any of that, then there's no way to hear it. So it's a tension that you still have. But the other part of it is we are not perfect. We have not figured it out. We don't have the market figured out. But we are trying to follow the example of Jesus. And when you go feed people, when we put 1,000 volunteers in there from all walks of life, schools, baseball teams, soccer teams, hospital, think about what happened. Name sometime that's happened before. The church did that. God's church, not simple church. The church was like, hey, and then guess what happens? 148,000 meals go to people halfway around the world that are hungry. And guess how that happens? Because Will, who was a rock and roll star, gave up celebrity, and him and his wife moved to poverty, and they began to then figure out how to implement feeding the kids and taking care of the kids in the streets. And you're arguing about whether you made $10 off a shirt or not. Well, we're pimping Do Good. The only reason Do Good is there is because it is a way to create awareness because you're consumer driven. We know you. So I'm capitalizing on you, and I'm trying to take the resources to go do more good with. So we're not stupid. We know kind of what's going on. So you're trying to go, but at the same time, you're trying to push the envelope a little bit and go, here's your opportunity to do it. That's why it's so exciting when 1,000 people go do it, because we generally lead towards selfishness. And then we love to, when we don't agree with it, we post, and haters are going to hate.
And I didn't see one single negative comment about the experience packing food bags.
No.
Because it was something that wasn't about you. You did it together.
And imagine figuring that out on a larger scale. That's what I dream. That's what messes me up. That's why I hope I don't die yet. I mean, if I do, then carry on the dream. But in general, at 56, it jacks with me still to the point that it makes and I can't hardly imagine a world if this building. This is why everybody was doing, we got to build this. Is also this. I don't give a rip. It's a tool. It's cool. It's a tool. The only thing that makes me excited right now is the fact that a bunch of these musicians are going to come in here and try to raise money for Sean Stroope's death that help people that are broke and musicians. So now, did I know it was exactly going to happen? No. Did Stephen tell me the date? Stephen will get back on that. We never confirmed. But either way, I don't get sidetracked on the logistics because they've planned it. But guess what? That ain't us doing it. But now come this weekend and all these musicians come together. And we're able to love on them, and then they're doing. And this is what's so funny. Somebody gonna hate who ain't doing nothing for a musician. Mm-hmm. So somebody gets cancer, you ain't helping them. And then I can't believe I got to work, or I'm gonna have to do. Man, you know I want to cuss so bad. Right?
Do it.
Come on, man. Like, if that's the least that we can do is to, because why? Because when a musician, a friend, gets cancer and there's a way to bring awareness and encourage each other and come together and figure out something to do, it's important because people matter. It matters. In all the logistics, you can get your panties in a wad over this ain't work and we should have done that. But look, when the bottom line gets done, what are you doing it for? You're doing it because you're raising money to help people who are in a bad situation. And Sean Stroope, an incredible musician, bass player, played with Jeff Moore. He played with worship leader. It'll come back to me in a minute. Phenomenal worship leader of the 90s or whatever, is dead. His days are over. It's gone. Cancer won. It got him. Now, Jesus ultimately wins. He's in heaven. He's better off. And now Sean's going, dude, please honor my life in one way, and that is help other people going through the same thing. And that ain't because Brian Blaze is coming over because he's a Grammy Award winner and he wants to be. No, it's because he knows that brother who's played with everybody will humble himself, not take a paycheck, come in and play on a couple of songs in the hopes that somebody will come pay a $20 ticket because those proceeds are going to help somebody who's in a bad situation. Jimmy Wooten, you go through all of it. That's why I love music. That's why I love all those musicians. That's why I love the culture. And the church, on the other side, we going to start and argue about it.
You're letting them on your stage? You're letting them come in and play?
I mean, and just argue about anything. Like, that's hard. I can't believe we're having a worker. Come on, man. What are we here for? What you want to do, sit at the house and watch the TV again? We going to sit here and talk about another episode that don't matter to nothing?
Yep.
And then you got a friend of yours that's got cancer, and then all of a sudden it's going to matter to you. And if it's going to flip the script when it's your family, your kid, or in our community, it's our community. This ain't like we're doing it for. This is us. Mm-hmm. So that's where I go back and go, come on, man, stop it, y'all, stop. Let's quit all the foolishness. And again, do you have to have logistics and figure all this thing? Yes, but attitude. That's where I go back to that passage this past week. When he looks at him and says, man, I just can't believe that's the man God. God ain't looking at that. He's looking at your heart, man. Mm-hmm. He's going, no, dude, you got that inside of you, and go check your heart. So when you get selfish and arrogant and it's about you and you ain't willing to serve and sacrifice, you ain't Jesus. Just put it right there. You in the flesh and you off. And all of us can get there, depending on the day. And the only way to get there, die every day. Die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna serve today. I'm gonna die. You coming at me, I'm gonna kill you with kindness and love. And I'm gonna read the scripture. Let me read one, because look, we didn't come over a podcast, but
so you printed them off. You gotta get.
Well, I got one because I read it yesterday, but I didn't read the whole thing. 1 John 3. This is the message you've heard from the beginning. You should be loving one another, because when you love your brothers and sisters, it proves that you are a believer. that you have passed from death to life. But a person who has no love is dead. And anybody who hates a brother or sister, you're just a murderer at heart. Goes on. And we know that murderers don't have eternal life within them. I cut that out because I knew that'd be too offensive. Everybody's like, oh, man, well, I'll cut it out because I'm going to just tell you, here it is. We know that what real love is because Jesus gave his life for us, so you ought to be giving up your life for your brother, your sisters. It ain't even like, well, I wonder what he really meant. I think when I study the word, and I'm going to spend another 2 hours on this. It's like, you studied long enough.
It's black and white.
You studied long enough. You fat enough. That's what one guy came to me yesterday. Long time Summer Church guy left because he had to get fed. Okay? He needed to go deeper. He came to me. A little bit of tears in his eyes, and he goes, man, I just want to apologize to you. One of my dearest friends still this day, was then, was when he left, and is now. And I said, hey, bro, what I'm telling you is somehow we bought the lie in the American church that we have to be fed by someone. And the last time I checked, you got babies. We feed them babies when they're babies. Ain't nobody feeding this fat cat right here. I know how to eat. And then the other problem is when you keep eating and you don't move, you get fat. And if you keep eating, and that's what's wrong with the church, it's a fat, out-of-shape church because all we want to do is be fed and given what we want. And then we're asked to do the hard stuff, which is the heavy lifting, which is loving somebody and moving out of your comfort zone or going to Mexico or Juarez or the Hub or your neighbor who just had a death in their family. That's hard to go over and say, man, you need anything? That's heavy lifting. Studying in a Bible study with your friends, man, that ain't hard. Singing Chris Tomlin or whatever, Brandon Lake, that ain't hard. The hard stuff is someone committed suicide in your neighborhood. Are you showing up or are you not? Mm-hmm. The hard part's when there's a kid going through something that don't nobody want to talk to and they don't know who he is and what he's about, and you go, man, I'm going to die to myself and go help that person right now and walk them through that and not judge them. I'm going to love them through that. And that's the problem. We have bought the other thing. Well, I'm just not fat, brother. Dude, listen. Dude, trust me, I ate too many Little Debbies and don't work out. I know about physical fatness and physical out of shape. But spiritually, I'm trying my best to go, dude, don't find me in here out of shape. Let's go work. You heard?
Love it. And one way you can do that is packing backpack snack bags coming up in a couple weeks. It's the next opportunity. Help local here in the area. We'd love for you to, it's struggling. Try to check it out. Snack bags here at the boardwalk. We'd love for you to be a part of that. And
when is that coming up?
January 18th, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, baby. I love it.
It's a great way to jump in and do good easy. And we got
and it's easy. What do they want? $5?
$5, 5 minutes.
One of our
Fill a
favorites.
bag. It goes and fills thousands for kids in the area. We'll talk some more about it.
And then you ask any teacher. Okay, so I went out and did Heroes and Helpers this past Christmas with the fire department and police department. And they got the names from some teachers and different things or whatever, and you look at those kids who get stuff that our kids have way too much. That's awesome. But now go to the next level where they can't eat. Mm-hmm. Like they don't have enough food. And if you go, man, that ain't really true. Man, let me take you on a couple of runs with this fire department. You heard?
Oh,
we have a great video. We'll link in the show notes with Elizabeth Vance.
Yeah, and go ask some teachers. Yeah, and go walk through the. This is in Shreveport, Bossier. This ain't like somewhere else.
Haiti, right?
And it's very true. And it's not farther than you think. Just being in Shreveport, Bossier, you may think it's in the, poor neighborhoods or whatever. It's in my neighborhood. I got neighbors that have gotten those snack bags before, and I don't live in a rundown neighborhood by any means.
Right. You just never know. So we'll wrap up some comments. We're pushing an hour, and then we got a question you'll answer for us here at the end. But comments, Matt Sanders just talking about the suicides in Benton's, heartbreaking, praying for those families. Ashley Warner says watching in Arkansas, loves Red Clay Strays, and will be here in person with Doug. Misses everybody.
Come on, I love you, Ashley.
Ash, that's right. Julie Rowe watching on the treadmill. She's being healthy. There we go. Makes a good choice.
New year, new you.
And then who else we got here? Matt Sanders, crazy. Kim Monk watched in Arkansas. A couple Arkansas folks in there.
Come on,
doing that today. Paul had a great comment here. We tend to judge others by their actions, but judge ourselves based on our intent.
Ain't that the truth, bro? Preach.
That's right. And then he's got the question to wrap us up, Justin. The message that you preach makes a lot of fundamentalist Christians nervous. Some think that if the church welcomes people visibly living in sin, it communicates approval of sin, even if that's not the intent. How do you have a loving conversation with your Christian friends without cussing at them?
Yeah, you better find somebody else, bro, because I
I
ain't there
cuss at
yet. Yeah, no. Here's the deal, though. Go look at Jesus. I mean, Jesus hung out with people that he was accused of being a drunkard. He was accused of being hanging with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
What you're called to do is love them.
Mm.
And when you love somebody, I could quote the scripture.
Come on.
It covers a multitude of sins. So I don't know what a multitude is. I don't know what that translation is because I didn't go to no seminary.
I mean, I think it goes.
But I
back
can
to-
tell you it's a lot.
A lot.
So all I'm telling you is love conquers all. Love is the highest law. Love is above anything that we've created in any other situation and circumstance. And when you go to the New Testament, that's what made him so controversial. That's what made it so difficult because we wanted to go fundamentalist and cross every T and dot every I and create enough rules to keep us comfortable. And Jesus came in and broke all of the rules for a purpose of a relationship. So for me, I mean, rules are there, I get it, but they're broken because of the relationship. You're not supposed to talk to women, Jesus. He talks to the woman at the well. You're not supposed to talk to a woman who's
Samaritans.
gone through a different, race, a whole another thing. She's living in sin. He hung out with her. He loved her. He talked to her. He spent time with her. You're
Everyone.
not supposed to talk to Matthew. He stole from everybody. He's a tax collector, whatever. Hey man, he's gonna be my friend. You don't go to Zacchaeus' house. He's a partier, man. They throw it down like nobody else. I'm gonna hang out. So I don't look at all this fundamentalist whatever and all that
No,
other. I
let's do
tried
it
to
again.
gear all that down.
Yeah,
Let's just go back to Jesus and try our best. And I think it's a great question. And I am not saying I have it figured out. I am not saying that I am the way. I am saying I really am trying to follow his way, Jesus' way. And that is the way. And the methodology and trying to get through some of those loopholes and all that stuff, I get it. You got to figure all that out. But I can promise you, if we had been real rules driven and told Brittany, you can't come in here smelling like alcohol, what would have happened? So I'll go back to some practical, like right here, and I'm going, the truth is we just loved on her. And the Holy Spirit, if you think you have the power to change people, you're sadly mistaken. It is the Holy Spirit working through us that impacts other people's lives. So if I do not open myself up to allow other people to be around me for the Holy Spirit to work on and be used as a tool, you ain't got no hope. There's no way to do that. So for me, it's like, man, get me out of the way. Help me love on you. And the best example, I mean, is the one I just told you of Kim. This girl, I responded in chaplain role in the middle of the casino, a bad circumstance. I am just like every other human. You could go through judgmentalness. You could go through what is going on. You could have all the selfish feelings. I don't want to be out all night. I can't believe this has happened. All of those things are true for me. I was not Jesus in the flesh. I was just like struggling to, okay, God. Then trying to go, God, let me just try to be right I need to be and whatever's going to go on. I had no idea that it would lead to her coming. I didn't even tell her I was a pastor of Simple Church. Never came out of my mouth. I never said, and by the way,
Here's a card.
our services are 9, 10, and 11. We'd love to see you, sister. I mean, no, it was just like,
She found it.
I don't know. Still don't really know how. I'd have to ask her how that really happened. I don't really know the how God did that in her. But she was in tears again Sunday. She was at the late hour because that was what she came to late. And I'm going, what if I don't go? Fundamentally, I'm not supposed to be at a casino. Fundamentally, I shouldn't. I'm representing and supporting that establishment or whatever. So much harm. Well, the truth is like I'm going to go and do my best to love and help and be a light in. I've done every casino event I can do because it's an honor for me. Because I have a chance to influence somebody and love on somebody and hang out with them, and they go, man, I'm with you. And there ain't a casino in this town that they would say, that guy's talk bad about me. That is a radically different from what we grew up in. They were picketing and telling why they didn't be here. And I understand that. It's not like I don't go, well, I don't really think that's – no, I get it. I got the stance, and I understand that. But they're here. So right now there are your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers. And what was so ironic when one last thing on this, and this is why I don't like religious people, there would be people that would say they were against them, but their business benefited from them, and they'd go sell to them.
Mhm.
So they were at church talking about how bad it was and taking that check on the backside.
There it is.
And this is why I don't like it. I'm telling you right up front where I'm at. I'm telling you like this. I don't gamble. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a drinker. I've already told you. Do I think anything's wrong with going to have a drink? No. But you ain't going to see me out getting sloshed tonight. That's it. It don't mean I don't think you're right or you're wrong. I mean, that's just, but at the same time, if I'm out there, I'm going to love on you and you're going to go, man, that's my dog, man. He's with me. Because I'm hoping that you get a little glimpse of Jesus. And if you're hurting or you need some help, you go, man, that dude's going to help me. And if I tell you, if I don't know who it is, if I don't know the answer, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to try to find it. And I'm going to try to get you to the right place. And that, generally speaking, doesn't go well when it's by the rules. And that's why I love my boy Jesus. My dog just didn't care about all that. He broke the rules, man, for a relationship. And that's why we have the freedom we have. And that whole New Testament, they're battling over it. All them Jews and Gentiles are going at all those rules. And then we interpreted those and created denominations on those things. And Jesus is like, man, I just wish y'all could be one. I wish y'all could come together and be one. And that was for all of us. And we still ain't one. We ain't going to be one until he comes back.
We're not. We're trying.
But we're
Working
going
on
to try to do his work, though. You heard?
That's exactly right, and do good with us. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening today, wherever you're at. Remember, you can join us each Monday live. Thank you for all the comments. Folks watching today, doing a good job there. We appreciate it. You can subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you want the audio version. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.